my job, I wish I had that teaching background that prepared me a little bit better for it. I'm doing all the legwork on my own now, going to conferences and reading books and articles and things like that on how to incorporate active learning into your instruction sessions, or how to engage your students, or all kinds of things. I just think it would have been a better lesson to learn in a formal sort of classroom setting. And like Emily, I took really tech-heavy classes. I did a dual concentration in knowledge management and IT management, and I took database management and web design and web management and all that kind of stuff. One of the best classes I took was usability analysis. And I use it a lot when I do work on the library's web committee, because not everybody on that committee, and certainly not everybody in the library as a whole, really looks at what we do online from a user's perspective. How user-friendly is it? How easy is it for them to find something? How intuitive is it for them to get the information that they're trying to find? And having that class in usability analysis really helps me consider things from the user's perspective rather than just from the library's perspective. Also, I took project management. That was incredibly helpful. And obviously my reference class was incredibly helpful because it cemented my love for reference. But also, as a reference librarian, my class in research methods was very, very helpful. I didn't like it very much, but I am now able to help my students much better.
I do have to say that project management piece, I wish I could have taken that, because that's all I have done, and that's where I stumble the most. That's one of the hardest things for me.
And all the group projects that you hate, that's real life.
Let me tell you, learn to work with people, even people you do not like to work with.
Especially people.
Especially people.
Because those are always the ones that you get stuck on a committee.
Those people who know everything, they don't go away.
I have a really quick question it's about dialogue. Our reference course, there's 2 reference courses here now, and one of them teaches dialogue and one of them really doesn't, or maybe it doesn't anymore, but how useful do you think dialogue is now and
Can I say something really quick?
Sure.
I never heard of dialogue until I met Elizabeth. I covered it not at all in library school whatsoever, and I'm so bored. So just throw that out there.
I still use dialogue. We still use dialogue quite a bit at our library. And I think, obviously it's a waning resource. No one wants to spend the time to learn it. However, it does have a place in many science libraries and in law firm libraries. And the reason is it's a very powerful search engine, and you can search multiple databases at once, remove duplicates. So until the world of federated searching gets a little better, dialogue is still going to be needed in many settings, pharmaceutical companies, our library. We still have a healthy dialogue subscription account, and it's expensive. I've looked at alternatives. Can we do what we're doing on dialogue elsewhere? And right now we can't. 3 or 4 years from now, maybe. That's actually one of the reasons I left, is because, I don't think dialogue's going to be around forever. However,
But you should keep using it, because you do
you
have
should.
friends who still work there.
Yes.
Employed.
Yes, I'm just on camera now making the dialogue. I'm going to have lots of friends. But it's still valuable to learn, and the reason is because if you can learn to search dialogue, you're going to be able to go to Web of Science or CSA Illumina, and you're going to be able to construct a much better search, because you're going to understand the searching and the indexing at the bare bones level, and that helps me on other platforms. It's valuable. And just to understand, when you're searching dialogue, you really do have to understand indexing and control vocabulary, and those things are transferable skills. So it's still valuable to learn, and there are still libraries that use it, contrary to popular belief.
I have to second, it's almost like learning, you don't learn to fix a car from looking at the outside of it. You have to get inside of it and learn how it works. And Dialog is an excellent, Dialog was the first database. It's like the mother of all systems now. And so when I search, in that lovely web feet, product, I can make it work because I understand how databases do or don't work together. And so what's going to happen when I use a keyword? Will I really get a complete search? No, probably not. And I know a lot about how to dig in and get that information. And if nothing else, it's a great party trick, because I can't tell you how many times somebody has come into the library and said, I already searched Google and it's not there. And I go search Google. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And that was before Google had their individualized, I know who you are, so I'm going to give you the search results you want to see. You learn how to work the system, and you learn to know what you're looking at. It is like getting to see the skeleton of the creature before you operate on it.
And I have to jump in here. I cannot sit here and not say anything, because it does teach you critical thinking skills, and very much like colleagues at the front of the room, I learned Dialog a long time ago. In fact, the Dialog people are very gentle with me. They say, well, Rebecca, you learned classic Dialog. I know, along with the dinosaurs. But truly, if you're, especially in a corporate situation, you cannot begin to afford the 500 plus databases we have here at UNC. And if you are a solo, Dialog is still one way that you can cover an incredible amount of territory. And you gain critical thinking skills by going through it. So you can see which side of the fence I'm on. I think Dialog should definitely be taught, because it forces you to really, as you say, look under the engine, look at the skeleton, whatever analogy you want to use. But it really, really helps a great deal.
And that skill, Dun & Bradstreet is an expensive database. And if you know how to search it quickly, so you can get into it, get the information you want, and get out of it, you're very valuable.
Patent, if you're doing IP, if you're in the Derwent files, oh my god, it's like, boy, every second you need to get in, you need to get out, and you will structure, you don't think online, and you will structure you will be very, very effective as a searcher.
And I just want to put in a plug too. I have had interns in recent years and months get jobs, and they've come to me and said, and the employer was really excited that I had Dialog experience.
And I had a student last year, she's graduated now, so I can talk about this, but she was applying in a law firm, and I actually did a tutorial with her on Dialog, because that was part of the reason, it was part of the job description, et cetera, and she said, I really need some help with this. I'm like, okay, come on, we're going to do, because once you learn it, you'll never forget it. And fortunately, the old software still works. So.
Yeah,
Who
and
knows how?
Yeah,
It's plugging along. Yeah.
I will say though, I'm not someone who is an expert at Dialog. It is essential that if you don't know Dialog, that you understand well how a database actually works. And so if you take the database classes, if you don't get a chance to learn, it is important to know about how things are indexed and what you're searching, how queries are really constructed, not how Google constructs them for you behind the scenes. So having a good understanding of what you're searching is really important.
It's just like your people skills too. If you try to figure out how the person you're talking to is thinking, what are they really thinking? What's going on in there? What's the subcontext of this? Computers are people too.